Who wants to be the next Italian wine ambassador? Join an exclusive network of 400 Italian wine ambassadors across 48 countries. Vinitaly International Academy is coming to Chicago on October 19th to 21st, and to Almaty, Kazakhstan from November 16th to 18th. Don't miss out. Register now at vinitaly.com.
Welcome to this special Italian wine podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Clubhouse Ambassadors Corner here on Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Laika Caparas and I am the producer of Italian Wine Podcast. And with me, we have Mihai Popescu. He is an Italian wine ambassador from New York 2024 edition, and he will be interviewing Vittorio Navacchia from Tre Monti Winery. So, hi Mihai, how are you doing?
Very good, and you? Thank you for this opportunity.
For sure. I wanted to actually introduce you first for the audience before we proceed with questions. First, Mihai is holding WSET Level 4 Diploma alongside a Bachelor's in Commerce from John Molson School of Business. He judges at prestigious competitions in Sélections Mondiales Canada. I don't know if I pronounce it right in the French.
Yeah,
way.
it's in the French.
Sélections Mondiales. Okay, things I learn every day. And Vinarium, largest in Eastern Europe. He was a co-founder of Salon de Vins Roumains. Was that right?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. Pioneering the first Romanian Wine Fair in North America. So that's really a big deal. It's really amazing that you did that. I salute you. And
Thank you so much.
Yes, and as a sales and product placement consultant at Brutus Wines, Mihai Popescu curates selections, manages sales for key Eastern European wine brands and workshops. Recently, he was certified as an Italian wine ambassador by Vinitaly International Academy, showcasing expertise in Italian wines. He is looking forward to share his knowledge with Italian wine lovers in his own home country, Romania. And by the way, actually, there's going to be a Vinitaly International Academy in Chicago and also in Kazakhstan, Almaty coming up. So check out at Vinitaly International.com and on your social media. But that's just like a quick commercial break. But anyway, so let me proceed. He has a background with the B2B sales, marketing, and business development, and has allowed him to represent producers internationally at events like World Wine Meeting Chicago and La Grande Dégustation de Montréal. So for today, tell me, why did you select Vittorio Navacchia as your favorite producer on your first Clubhouse Ambassadors Corner?
First of all, I fell in love, deeply in love with Italian wines while studying for the WSET Diploma. And then I developed a passion, and I chose Vittorio because he shares the same values of winemaking that I appreciate and I promote, respecting traditions, innovation, using ancient winemaking methods, and definitely focus on terroir and indigenous grapes. I think that's what's important in my personal values of wine.
Yeah, I agree. He's very rooted for everything about the Italian wines and also for indigenous grape and so on. So that's really amazing. Actually, I look forward for this conversation. How did you discover the wines of Tre Monti?
It was actually around 5 years ago. I was watching an episode from Anthony Bourdain when he visited the beautiful region of Emilia-Romagna, and he filmed at Tre Monti. And that's a few years ago. I didn't think of becoming so advanced with the wine, but it stuck in my head. And since then, I was passionate about his wines and everything that he produces and the way his vision for winemaking.
That's incredible to be featured by Anthony Bourdain, is the legend of food and wine. And well, I'm kind of curious. I also want to ask, when did you first tried or tasted the wines of Tre Monti?
Maybe 3 years ago at the wine fair here in Montreal, and definitely fell in love with the Sangiovese. Like, it's such a pure expression of the grape and the fruit. I really loved it.
Okay. And because we have our ambassadors here, I wanted to ask for them, what are the learning objectives that we should be expecting from this interview?
Well, we should learn a bit more about Emilia-Romagna as a wine region. Definitely the indigenous grapes that are used by such a key producer, Tre Monti, and a bit of information about how can we improve the image of the region or make other more consumers more aware of this region. And talk about the wines of Tre Monti, their wines and their winemaking styles.
Okay. So before I mute myself, I also want to tell the audience that later, if we have time, you can raise your hand so that we can put you up on stage if you have any questions. Otherwise, you can also write your questions on the chat room here. So I'll send a message to you guys later. So yes, so good luck with the interview. I will mute myself for now. Okay?
Thank you. So thank you, Vittorio, for doing this and taking your time. I know winemakers are very busy most of the time, and even if it's not harvest, it takes time. You always have something to do around the winery. So Vittorio, he's 55, and his brother David, they run Tre Monti since 1989, when their mother Thea passed away at 55. And they, together with Babbo Sergio, decided to continue their parents' passion for winemaking. After he studied enology at Bologna University, Vittorio holds the technical responsibilities of the vineyard and cellar and the estate. He learned from great teachers such as Attilio Scienza. If you did the ambassador program, you definitely heard of him. Also Donato Lanatti and Vittorio Fiore and Nicola Tucci. He approached organic agriculture since 2011, when it was not so cool and popular in northern Italy. And a very important step was in 2013 when he got the first Georgian amphora, Quervi, arrived at the winery, and Vittorio started doing long skin maceration to Albana the grape. At the beginning, they took it as a joke, and now it's real business. Obviously, we all know that and right now it's very trendy to work with amphoras. Vittorio has a great passion for white wines, and he's something that represents him is curiosity, hard work, and a good example from his parents that started the winery, and to have joy of working with the people around, and to self-irony, maybe to have a good sense of humor. So, Vittorio, if you're ready, I'm going to ask you the first question that I prepared. I think Emilia-Romagna, compared to the other Italian region, is less popular. What can producers like yourself do and to shine a light on this region?
Hello to everybody, and thank you very much to give me this opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Lika. Thank you very much, Mihai. You already did a presentation very nice. Sorry for my English so-and-so, but I will try with my passion to explain what is my work and my idea to produce wine in my estate, in my soil, in my region. About your question, I think the answer is very easy. I think that we have just one wave. Wines made with our indigenous grape, indigenous variety. Emilia-Romagna region, the region where we are, is a very big and large region from west to east in Italy, where the capital of the city, the center of the region, is Bologna, famous for the food, for the university. In a so big region, from west to east, there are really very different soil and grape variety. From Piacenza, in the west part, with Gotturnio, to Parma and Modena with the Lambrusco and its different version, to arrive in Bologna with Pignoletto di OCG and arriving in Romagna, where I am, with Sangiovese and Albana, I think we have really a good potential. Of course, it's very important that we must work a lot in the vineyards and in the cellar to enhance the potential of our terroir. And this is the most important part of our work. Understand our variety and to apply the best vinification style is very important too. For example, with Albana, our indigenous white variety, we decided several years ago to make the vinification with the skin contact because for us this is the best expression for this type of wine and grape. For the Sangiovese, for example, in the last years, many producers in the area we are reducing the use of the oak because the clone of the Sangiovese from our area is very rich of red fluid, and we would like to save this character of the grape and the wine. In the last years with the Sangiovese, we reduce a lot the style of maturation of the grape. We use a big percentage year after year of whole grape in the maturation and in the fermentation because the final client, the consumer, wanted to drink wine much more fresh, much more mineral, much more vibrant. And this, it means to save the best expression of our terroir and our soil.
Just to continue on this question, so you guys kind of find your style of wines that's from the region. Do you work together with the other wineries to promote the region or to make it known, or so far it's less organized in the region?
Yes, of course. This is really very, very important, and because to try to save the peculiar character of our wine is very important, and this is the only way, the only direction promote Emilia-Romagna wine in the world.
Okay, so let's continue on next question. What are the climatic and geographic features that makes your winery stand out? What makes you where you are situated? Like what's different compared to other region? What helps you make better wines geographically and climatic wise?
We are located in east part of Emilia-Romagna region, not too far from Adriatic Sea. You must imagine that Bologna is the most important city, is in the center of the region. We work in two different terroirs in the region, one in Imola, half an hour from Bologna, and another one in Forlì, a little bit more close to the coast. We are 45 minutes from the Adriatic Sea. In 2 words, I think I tell you that we have a climatic condition more Mediterranean than continental. The summer season, year after year, are very hot, and winter season not so cold like in the past. We are feeling a lot the changing climate. Every year the harvest is a little bit in advantage because everything is in advantage, the budding, the evaporation. Today is the 25 July. In Imola soil, a soil very rich of clay, very fresh. We have some vineyard of Chardonnay Muscat, and Sauvignon Blanc. I am honest, in this moment, I am not sure that I will able to arrive in middle of August without make the harvest time of this variety. and to start before the 15th of August is really crazy from my area, from my region. For our indigenous white variety, the Albana, where we do the skin contact, we wait a lot the ripening of the skin of the Albana. And we make the harvest type of 20 September. 20 September is very late in this moment for the Albana, because until 20 days ago, when I talked of late harvest for the Albana, it means not before 9-10 of October. So it's very crazy situation. You consider that if we start to pick up the Chardonnay Sauvignon Blanc before the 15th of August, is not to produce the wine for the sparkling wine, but to produce the wine with medium body for part fermentation in oak, so grape ready to be picked up. And then this is a very crazy situation, because the changing climate is very strong. About our geographic position, we are located in the first hills of the Appennino, between Bologna and Florence, between Romagna and Tuscany, 200 meters above sea level, with a soil rich of clay and sand, fresh soil, and this is very important because the clay soil is a soil that remains much more fresh than the other type of soil that we know.
I'm going to ask you the question that could continue on the climate change. I know it's a very hot summer. Even here, I live in Canada, and it's very hot even for Canada. I will ask you, how are you preparing your wineries for this climate change, for the future? There's so many challenges. Can you talk about something specific that you're doing so to protect or to adapt to these very hot summers?
Every year is something of different. To grow the grape, especially in the last year, is impossible to think to follow a protocol. Every year we do something of different. Especially in the last year, for example, we try to maintain the cluster with much more leaves than in the past. Until 11 years ago, immediately after the end of the flower of the grape, we pass to cut off part of our leaves. Now is not correct to make this. It's much more important to maintain much more leaves possible, so the cluster stay more fresh in the vineyards. Then the other operation that we can try to do to fight the sugar level that in this moment are really too high and too much, we keep a little bit more grapes than in the past in the plants. So we have more grape and a little bit less sugar level during the harvest time. This means that we must make a different passage in the vineyards for the harvest before to pick up a part of the grape. After 15 days, we do another passage, because we help the plants to arrive with a good ripening, especially for the red variety of the polyphenols of the skin. For the new vineyards, where it is possible, is very important to pass the irrigation. Now is absolutely necessary, where there is the water, to pass the irrigation in the new vineyards. or where we have not the irrigation, like, for example, in Forlì Estate, where we have the 50% of our plants, we use the resistant stock, more resistant to the dry soil and dry climate condition.
Do you face a lot of drought in the region compared to, let's say, California or other very hot like southern Spain? Do you have issues with water, or that so far you're good on that?
No, we in our region we are lucky because we have the possibility to use the water for the irrigation. Is irrigation, of course, to help the vineyards in a stress condition. It's not irrigation to produce more grape and more quantity. Emilia-Romagna region in this was always one of the region very sensible to this question. And for example, in Imola Estate, where we have the water, all in the new vineyards that we are planting, we will put the irrigation system. Many years ago was something of incredible. When my father planted the vineyard in 1970, he did all the irrigation system in all the vineyards that he planted. But this irrigation system we never used. He never used. And many of these, when we planted the new vineyards in 85, 89, there was not necessary to put the irrigation system. Now is very important to make and to do.
Okay, so now we will continue to ask you. I know you spoke a bit about Sangiovese and your white grapes, but can you be just more specific and can you please describe us your local grapes that you use at your winery and what makes them stand out from other regions, other countries, other producers, the way you work with these grapes?
You already talked about the Sangiovese. Of course, the Sangiovese for the red is the most important local grape that we have. Like I said before, our soil, our climate conditions are different from other part of Italy where grows Sangiovese. And our typical clone is different too. The berry of our Sangiovese, typical Sangiovese from Romagna region, is not so big like in other part of Italy. The berry of Sangiovese from Romagna, the typical clone, remains small. And this it's very important because it means that in our Sangiovese we have much more skin in a small berry, and much more skin it means much more polyphenols, much more anthocyane, and in a red variety the quality is always on the skin. Inside the berry we have only water and sugar, and water and sugar is no good for the quality. It is good only for the quantity. To find our style, and especially don't copy the Sangiovese expression of other area, much more known than the Romagna region. This is my idea of Sangiovese variety. Since last year, we presented in the market a new Sangiovese, important for us, important for the quality, for the style. Is a Sangiovese that we dedicated to our father Sergio, that he was the founder of the winery. The name of the wine is Classe 33. and it is a Sangiovese that we produce in Imola State, and all the vinification is made in a concrete tank with 15% of whole grape during the fermentation. And all the aging is made in concrete tank for 14 months. And this, for me, could be a new direction to produce the Sangiovese from Romagna area. With less oak, of course, this means that the wine needs a little bit more time, because the evolution of the Sangiovese, of the red wine without the oak, is much more slowly. But this means too that we have a very true expression of the Sangiovese from my area, from my soil. This is about the local grape, local variety for the red local grape and local variety. For the white, like already I said you before, our most important grape, indigenous grape, is Albana. Albana is very unique. Albana was the first DOCG white wine in Italy since 1987. Is an incredible long cluster. The skin is very thin, but incredible rich of polyphenols and tannins. Albana is a sugar machine, but maintains a good acidity and a low pH. It's very versatile variety, because many producers of my area they make a white vinification with soft pressure, pick up the grape early in the season, usually in the first week of September, and we have a version of the Albana very fresh, mineral, vibrant, good acidity. But for example, like I already said you before, we prefer to wait this grape, this variety, until the ripening of the skin is perfect, like a red wine. And we decided since 2013 to make a skin contact, a maturation, long maturation or short maturation, but for us remain one of the best expression for the Albana grape. The orange wine are very popular now. Many producers try to make orange wine, but to make white wine with skin contact is very important to have the right variety for this type of vinification. And in Italy, there are not many varieties that, for me, this is my opinion, where we can use this type of vinification. I'm thinking the Ribolla Gialla, the Malvasia Istriana, some Fiano from Avellino, but Albana, for me, for his character, for his structure, for his body, for the tannins that we have in the skin, is perfect for this type of vinification. And I am honest, I started to make a skin contact like an experiment, like a joke, and now all our Albana is 100% made with skin contact.
So this is very, very interesting. We all know how important we know orange wine. It's a very big trend right now, and skin contact, I think it gives complexity to the wine, and it's important to make the best expression of the grape. It's going to lead me to the next question. I know you're using the amphora, the Quervi. Are you using it only for the Albana? What are the benefits of using it? What are the challenges? How do you use it as its best, like to get the most potential out of it?
In this moment in the winery, we have 10 Quervi that we import directly from Georgia, different size. We have some amphora of 300 liters. We have one amphora of 1,000 liters. I am very honest, everything started like a joke. A friend of us from my city, from my area, that he was a director of Università del Gusto of Pollenzo, involved me and the other 6 producers of the area to try to make, to copy, because the right word is to copy, the vinification of Georgian wine using indigenous variety from Romagna region. And we decided to buy 7 amphora, 1 for each, and each of us started to make the vinification with the indigenous grapes. So I chose Albana, but the other producer chose the Sangiovese or Centesimino or Rebola or Grechetto for Pignoletto. And but the first idea was to make this experiment, and after to meet all together and to taste what is the final wine that we did. We take a protocol, the same protocol of the Georgian wine, very similarly. So natural fermentation, long skin contact, no any control of the temperature, no any sulfites used during the maturation. And so this started really like a joke. And for me, I'm very honest, for me was something of incredible to think to make a wine with this technology, because my consultant, my study in university, learned me that to make a good wine was very important to use the sulfites, to control the temperature, the fermentation with the cold, use selected yeast. And was very crazy. I remember very well in the vintage 2013, after 35 days of skin contacts, I tasted the Albana in this amphora, and the wine was very, very interesting. And like in everything, after when people believe in one thing, after is very easy to invest in this project. After we decided we changing something, of course. For example, I immediately learned that to make orange wine or skin contact with Albana was very important, the ripening of the skin. So we decided to wait to pick up the Albana like the production of a late harvest. And the Albana is incredible because when the ripening is perfect, is incredible rich of apricot note, peach note, yellow fruit, and these are the same thing that I find in our Vitalba, the Albana that we produce inside the amphora, especially in the first months of his life.
Yes, continue.
So, why the Kvevri? The clay from Georgia is very incredible. Like make the amphora in Georgia is something of crazy. I have 10 amphora, but each amphora is different. I know very well all the amphoras that I have in the cellar because my work is very hard and I must taste a lot every day and every week. But each amphora gave to the Albana something, to the wine something of different. One thing is common for all the Kvevri that I have. The Kvevri for me are a phenomenal accelerator of wine maturity. 90 days skin contact. After I finish the maturation in the amphora, I put the wine in steel tank, I clean the wine, and I go immediately in the bottle. And especially in the first months, in the first 6-9 months, I have in the bottle the same aromatic part of I find in my grape and in my wine inside the amphora. There is no difference between the grape, the wine during the maturation, and the wine in the bottle. This means that the amphora is very a neutral container, a neutral tank
Container. Yeah, tank container.
for my wine, and this is an incredible thing for me.
Just listening to you talking about it, I would like to just get on a plane to come taste the wine. Hopefully, I could find it here on the market soon. It's going to lead me to the next question. I know you're doing organic and sustainable winemaking and some maybe biodynamic approaches. It's something that consumers really support nowadays. We're all behind this. Did you have challenges when you switched from the regular viticulture? And also, have you seen an increase in the quality of the grapes and quality of the wine in the end? Because that's what's important in the end. Does it taste better, the wine?
We are organic since 2014. We started in 2011. My consultant in this year suggested me to start to be organic. For me, it was crazy to try to be organic in this year. And Patrizio, the name of my consultant, Patrizio Gasparinetti, he continued to tell me, Vittorio, you are very close to be organic, you must start. I started. Now is much more easy to be organic now than 15, 16 years ago, because we have a dry season, dry summertime, and this help a lot to reduce the number of treatment in the vineyards. To be organic, for me, it means especially to change mentality. To change mentality, because you know that in organic agriculture, I can use especially sulfur and copper, and sulfur and copper are preventive agriculture and non-curative agriculture. So it's very important to be ready to go in the vineyard to make the distributions of sulfur and copper in every moment. There is not more Saturday, there is not more Sunday, because, for example, if tomorrow is possible, I will have some rain, I must be ready to start to make a preventive treatment for my vineyards. So it's a change mentality, very important, not for me, but for all the people that work with me in the vineyards. But I remember very well, especially in the first years when to pass organic agriculture, the color of the vineyards, the color of the grass along the row in the vineyards, much more green, much more live, something of different. This year we wrote out a Cabernet vineyard that my parents planted in 1983. Before to plant the new vineyard, we did the analysis of the soil. I was here in last November with my consultant with the analysis of the soil, and I asked me if he was curious to read the analysis of the same soil that my parents did before to plant the Cabernet Sauvignon in 1984. Many of these analyses was similar, but there was some microelement like for example the manganesio. I don't know in English manganesio, but was completely different. In 1984 was a very high level, and now the level is very low. And I asked to my consultant why, and he said me because probably, he said, in this year, in 1984 and before, you use many products to fight the oidium, and many of these products is made with manganesio. And now you stop it to use this product, and now the soil is clean. And to be organic, it means these two. And this is very important for us and for the people that follow me in our operation in the vineyards. About biodynamics, very honest, I don't apply in the cellar any operation for the biodynamic agriculture. In the vineyards, just we make some operation, like for example, when we do the trimming in the vineyards, we trim following the phases of the moon, or we follow the phases of the moon when we plant the new vineyards. But these are the only things that we do with the biodynamic agriculture. It's too much complex, biodynamic for me.
I think it explained a lot on this side, and we all know that, biodynamics can be a bit more complicated than organic. And as you explained, it's by using organic, you got better soil. So what I think it's going to help you in the future with the quality of the grapes.
Yes. I think yes. I see that now, for example, since we are organic, is much more easy for the grape to arrive in the best moment to be ready to be picked up. For example, for the Sangiovese is very important. The polyphenol ripening of the skin is very important. To taste the grape before to decide the day of the harvest time. And since we are organic, I see that the polyphenol ripening, the technological ripening, and the aromatic ripening are very close and much more easy to find the right moment to pick up the grape, especially the Sangiovese variety.
And let's say if you taste older vintages before you were organic and compare it to now, did you see a difference in taste of the Sangiovese or the final wine?
Yes, there is many difference. The Sangiovese, since we are organic, is absolutely much more rich of fruit. I tell you that since 15, 20 years ago, the style of the vinification, especially for the red varieties, the maturation, the conduction of the maturation is completely different since 20 years ago. Until 12, 13 years ago, and then the days of maturation was the maturation was much more longer, and the pumping over are much more strong, much more long, more time for every day. And now we reduce a lot this type of maturation. The day with the skin contact are maximum 14-15 days. We move the skin just a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes in the evening. Why? Because now the ripening of the grape is much more better than in the past, and much more easy to extract the sweet part of the tannins, the sweet part of the polyphenols that we have on the skin. So the wine is very different. Perhaps 20 years ago, the Sangiovese was more strong, much more green, much more hard. Now are a style much more sweet, much more balanced, not so heavy like in the past.
That's very interesting to learn and to hear it from you firsthand. And it's going to get me to the next question. It's what is your flagship wine? What should Tre Monti be known for around the world, or in Italy, or in Europe, or in Canada? What's the wine that we should, when we think of Tre Monti, what wine should come to our head first thing?
I think that in these last years, the flagship wine absolutely is the Vitalba. The Vitalba is a Zisalbano, like I said you before, made in Georgia amphora with skin contact. Is orange wine is a clean orange wine. I like to try to explain what is the Vitalba with the clean word, because it's very important for us. And yes, is now I think is for a producer that came from a region not so famous in Italy like Romagna, to be present in many different and famous wine lists and famous restaurant wine lists in the world is very important for us. And I think that is recognizes wine for the winery, for other work, and this of I think in this moment the flagship wine is the Vitalba. Then I can tell you that, for example, there is another white wine, because I love to produce to drink white wine, called Tea White. Tea was my mother's name, and Tea White is a very original 100% Petit Manseng that we planted in 2000 with Attilio Scienza, and Petit Manseng found incredible expression in my area, in area very close a creek, with a soil very rich of clay, very fresh. We make harvest time in November. Is a dry white wine, aging all in steel tank, and Tea White is incredible, especially the evolution inside the bottle. I have some 2006 vintage of Tea White that the wine is really incredible. For my opinion, wine very rich of pure tropical fruit, pineapple in the first year, and after I have incredible hydrocarburic evolution like some Riesling from Germany. Very, very interesting. So the flagship wine is the Vitalba, but the white wine that I love a lot is the Tea White, is this Petit Manseng.
They sound very appealing, both of them, and to be honest, right now the market is asking for more and more white and less red. So I think you're on spot with these two wines. I saw also that you're producing a line of Frizzante and SO2 free wines. How are these lines performing, and is it an answer to the market trend, or is it something you produced before it was cool, something that you really like doing?
We always produce this wine. The no sulfites wine first vintage was in 2009 with Sangiovese with the red. We produce this wine before to be organic. It's incredible. Since 2011 we produce Chardonnay without sulfites. I am very honest, it's much more easy to produce a Sangiovese without sulfites than a Chardonnay without sulfites. The red wine has a natural antioxidant products like the polyphenols, the anthocyanins that preserve the wine, and is is possible to produce red wine without sulfites. Of course, is fresh wine. You can keep for a couple of years, very easy to drink. For the Chardonnay, it's a little bit more difficult, but in the market, there are many supporters of this type of wine. But of course, it's not my flagship. About the Frizzante, we always always produce the sparkling Pignoletto. We have the tank, we have the technology inside the cellar. It's not so easy to find a small winery in Romagna with the Frizzante production line, including the bottling machine, but we always did. We produce a sparkling Pignoletto and a sparkling Barbera. Since 2017, we started with Albana grape, pick up in the season, middle of August. We produce a Petnat, ancestral method Albana. Very interesting, very fresh, very vibrant. Like you said before, in this moment, there is incredible increase of consumer of white wine and sparkling wine. Of Petnat, the name is Anabla. We produce 10,000 bottles in 1 year, very small production. But in this moment, and we are in beginning of August, I completely sold out this wine. Is a wine especially that we sell in the market much more evolved. I'm thinking, for example, for USA, New York market, or California market, Rhode Island market, and in north of Europe. In Italy, to produce Petnat is many winemakers make Petnat, and a little bit more difficult because there is very big choice for the final consumer, and not all the Petnat are for me correct expression of this type of wine. Very, very interesting for the summertime, especially.
So you were saying that you are present in New York market and California, but what other countries that you sell your wines to, or regions, and also where would you like to be present in the future, and what new markets would you like to develop?
For export market, one of our first market is the USA market, because since 2009 we decided to stop with the national distributors, and we decided to try to find in different states with a local distributor, local importer. So, for example, in this moment in USA, we have 12 different importers in different states. With many of these, we have a friendly relationship. To sell Romanian wine is not easy for my distributors, and it's important that all the importers know us, know our philosophy, know our wines, visited us along the year, and this is the most important thing for us. In our experience, we saw that the big name, big importer, big distributors is not the right solution for us. So, for example, for us is of course, a New York market, California market are very important because are very big market, but we sell very well in Rhode Island, we sell in Wisconsin, we sell in Minnesota, we have an incredible importer in Tennessee, North Carolina, that he sell a lot of orange wine in the area, but everywhere have with all our importers a friendly relationship. We sell very well in north of Europe. Finally, now we enter in England market, because finally we found the right importer for us. Then, of course, we have crazy market, like for example Kazakhstan or Mongolia, that for us was until a few years ago was crazy to think to sell Tre Monti wines in Mongolia, but Mongolia is a very important market for us now in this moment.
I think there is more and more regions that are increasing. Well, they're getting to know more about the wine, and the demand in those regions are increasing, such as Asia and less developed countries that are now developed. Parts that I know, it's like Eastern Europe that has an increased appetite for Italian wines, and it's a big market in the past years. Do you have any wines in countries such as, let's say, Romania, Bulgaria, such countries like even Hungary, in that corner of the Europe?
Yes, I think so. I think it's true. Is correct because now it's very important to have a open mentality, and this I always found in United States, open mentality to try and to taste new and different wine, of course.
And one of the last questions, I personally fell in love, as I mentioned before, from the episode of Anthony Bourdain when you guys had lunch in the vineyard. And my question is, if we want to visit your winery, what services can you offer? And also, can we eat the famous foglina tagliatelle?
This is a big problem for me and for my brother, because after the episode of Anthony Bourdain, we continue to have many requests to repeat the same experience that Anthony Bourdain did here 10 years ago. There is a crazy request in the past when one man asked us to repeat the same lunch in the vineyard with Anthony Bourdain, because he wanted to ask to his girlfriend if she wanted to marry him. And yes, I know. I remember very well when Anthony Bourdain visited us, and I remember the man, especially after the tour in the vineyard that we did with Michael White, the chef that he brought him in my winery, because he worked many years in San Domenico, 2-star Michelin restaurant in my city. After that, he worked a lot. All the people before the dinner in the winery, he asked to go to the hotel to rest a little bit. And I remember that he asked me if he can take a seat and to stay in my garden to see the vineyard. And I remember very well this man that after a day of work to stay in the seat for a couple of hours completely alone with the cigarette and a bottle of Sangiovese, of course. And I remember this image of this man that he loves really what he was seeing in this moment. But of course, we try to organize visit and tour in the winery with appointment when I and my brother we are available. And for us it's very important, especially for our importer, for our distributors, when they come in the area, they come in Imola to visit us, is impossible don't offer their tagliatelle dish homemade, completely homemade, and this the hospitality is the most important part of our work, and this my father was incredible because he learned us about this. I was very disappointed when I remember very well when I started to visit the vineyard with Michael White and Anthony Bourdain. I remember that Michael White asked me if I wanted to talk in English or talk in Italian, and I said to him, Michael, I can try to talk in English, to speak in English. I started to speak English. Michael stopped me and he said me, "Oh, Vittorio, but you speak English very well. Perfect." After when I saw the episode in television, I remember very well that I spoke in English and I was subtitulated in English.
I think you speak very well, and don't be worried. You explained very well, and everything was very clear for us. One last quick question before we end: for an ambassador like us, can we do a visit, or like when you need help for harvest, or do you employ people that would like to help you at the winery, or you just have your own team and that's it?
I have the team. I have the team of same people since many years. That he wanted the different people because it's the same people that work very hard along the year in the vineyard, and they wanted to pick up the grape. But of course, like you said before, we make a tour visit and tasting in the winery. Every day for all the year, but the harvest time is impossible because my work would be very disappointed.
So it's better to visit when you're not doing harvest, either in spring or later during the year.
Correct.
After the harvest.
Correct.
Season. I think this was the time for us for today. I would like to thank you again for this opportunity and to share all this nice knowledge with us. I think we got some nice insights on Tre Monti and what you do with the wines.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vittorio and Mihai. It was a very engaging conversation. Before I end the conversation, I wanted to announce that next week we have another Clubhouse Ambassadors Corner. So we have Wayne Young. He will be interviewing Federico Stropolatini from Stropolatini Winery. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. And yeah, have a good day ahead. Bye. Ciao, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.